To get summary data now, there is few things that we should do here. For example, we will need to import a specific module, which is a HTTP client module, and we will also need to use HTTP client from Angular. That module will help us to send requests to this API so we could get data back. Next to that module, we will generate a specific service in Angular, because mostly in Angular, when you need to hold data in some place, you will hold it or get it in your service. As a service is injectable as a feature, we can hold our data there and share that data through different components, other services, directives, and so on. Once we have that set up, we will be able to get summary data from Coronavirus API. First thing that I will do here is generate my service that I will use. To do that, go into your terminal, and once again we will use Angular CLI tool here. So now I will generate this service with command of ng, g for generate, s for service, and I will generate my service in shared folder that I have, because this service will be shared through different components, and in this folder of shared I will create another folder of services, because there will be multiple services, not just one. Now the last thing that I will pass is the name of my service, which will be data. So we are generating here a data service because this data service will hold our data. With this command, Angular CLI generated for us this data.service.ts file and also test file for this service as well. I already mentioned at the beginning of this video that next to our service we will import a module that we need to use. So go into your app.module.ts file, because that is a center place of our application, and in imports array after this live module we can now import HTTP client module. This module is rarely imported by default, so just copy this from here, and at the top you can import this HTTP client module from @angular/common and /HTTP. Also, what I will do is bring this HTTP client module to a top a bit, so down below I could hold only my modules that I have. But what is important about this HTTP client module? Because we will use HTTP, well, we will send HTTP requests in Angular, we can import a specific module because Angular has this module to help us to do that. Now that we have this module imported in our app.module.ts file, we can open up our service, which is in shared folder, then services, and this data.service.ts file. As we plan to use that HTTP module, we can import directly this HTTP here in this service. So in my constructor here, I will create private property of HTTP, and I will set the type of it to be HTTP client. This way we successfully imported this HTTP client into this service, so we can now use these HTTPs to send requests. Now that we have this module imported and also obviously our service, the last thing that is left here to do is to get our summary data. So here, down below after my constructor, I will create the method called getSummaryData, and this method here can return something to us. So why return? Well, we will need to return the data that we will get here, because we plan to share that data through different components. So how could we get this data? Well, first of all, let's use our HTTP. So here, use this.http, and on it, use that. You will have all of these different methods. For us, we can use this get method because we wish to dispatch get request here. So this get method will accept some kind of URL. Jumping quickly into Coronavirus COVID-19 API, go to your summary request here. Well, the URL that we need to send here is this https api.covid19api.com/summary. So make sure to copy the entire URL here. Once you copy the URL, in our get method we can use a single quotes and pass that URL directly here. Now that should be enough to get our data from the API, but it didn't change anything in our application yet. Well, currently we cannot see that data anywhere, not on our application, not in our console. But at least we prepared that request and also that data for now. So let's in the next video make sure to share that data from our service to our component, well, to our summary component that we have, so we could render that data here on our summary page. So let's do that now.